Straight ahead on Channel 6 News at 5. The Saints were never in it. Siena's first NCAA game in a decade ends in defeat.
Siena fans packed the Pepsi to watch the Saints do battle. We'll have a live report.
And a tanker accident shuts down the Northway. It's all ahead on Channel 6 News at 5.
Now, the #1 news station in the capital region. This is Channel 6 News at 5.
The final here at McNichols Arena. Arkansas 94, Siena 80.
And it wasn't as close as the final score would indicate either. Siena is sit packing. The Saints' first trip to the NCAA tournament in a decade is now over. They've lost to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Good evening, I'm Brad Holbrook.
And I'm Sue Nigra. Liz Bishop has the night off. Siena fans expressed disappointment with their team's defeat at the hands of the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Siena fans gathering at the Pepsi Arena to watch the Saints game on big screen televisions, a game which will be followed live and in person by the women's team's NIT game. As John Russell reports from the Pepsi, fans are hoping that that game has a better outcome for them. Hi, John.
That's right, Brad. There were some disappointed fans here at the Pepsi Arena. After all, they've waited about 10 years to see their team get in the big NCAA tournament. But I guess if you couldn't make it out to Denver, then the Pepsi Arena was the next best place to watch. In fact, at times with the crowd reacting, you really felt like you were watching the game live. Many of the 300 who came out were Siena students, and as you can imagine, there was plenty of school spirit. Even after Arkansas jumped out to an early lead and never looked back, still fans of the Saints never gave up and cheered at each and every basket.
It's great school spirit. Everyone's supporting the team. You got to be here for it. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It's just great to have all these people around. It makes it so much more fun than just sitting and watching it in your room or something like that.
You seem like you're really into the game, almost like on every basket.
We're behind them all the way. It's been 10 years, it's a long 10 years, and we're really proud of them no matter what happens.
Okay, Brad, after that game, the women's team is out here practicing. They'll be taking the court against Georgetown to begin playing in the NIT tournament. That begins at 6:30. Brad?
All right, John Russell, thanks a lot. The Siena-Arkansas game was a matchup of two very fast-moving and high-scoring teams. Unfortunately, Siena was the lower scoring of the two today.
Unfortunately, Ed O'Brien is in our newsroom with the highlights of the game. Ed?
Arkansas, a faster-moving team, by the way, Brad and Sue. This one did end pretty quickly. The Saints hard-pressed to keep up with the Razorbacks this afternoon. In fact, the only time Siena fans got to cheer was before the game. Here we go, 6-2 Arkansas. Chris Walker for three. Get used to it.
He connects.
Marcus Faison answers that one, but here we go again. Hogs on a tear. Three-pointers coming fast and furious. They're up 20-8. Siena goes on a couple of runs later on, 8-0 and 13-3. Freeney for three gets Siena within 11, but Arkansas won't let the Saints get any closer all afternoon. Again, the final score, Arkansas 94, Siena 80. More on the Saints coming up later in this newscast and tonight at 6. Brad?
All right, Ed, thanks. We want to remind everyone at home, too, that we will have live coverage of the Saints post-game news conference. That should be coming up shortly. And then coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll also hear from our sports director, Doug Sherman, who is, of course, in Denver, and we'll hear from him live in just a little bit, coming up at 6.
4 players from Minnesota will not be able to take part in March Madness. University of Minnesota officials have declared 4 players ineligible in the wake of allegations of academic fraud. The probe followed a report in a Minnesota newspaper quoting a former university employee as saying she did take-home exams and other coursework for the 4 current players and at least 16 former players.
Topping other local news stories tonight, after over a year of controversy, lawyers have now given their opening statements in the trial of 2 Albany police officers accused of brutally beating a College of St. Rose basketball player. Special Prosecutor John Dorfman accuses officers Sean McKenna and William Benani of an unprovoked attack on Jermaine Henderson in the secrecy of the police garage, a beating that left him bleeding profusely with welts and bruising in October of 1997. But Tom Neidl, the attorney for Benani, says Henderson sustained the injuries at an earlier bar fight with the same officers at the Partridge Pub. There, the off-duty officers admittedly punched him in the face and tried to subdue him after what Neidl describes as a Wild West saloon battle. Henderson also fell down the concrete steps. The trial is going ahead without Henderson. As we told you yesterday, he received a $60,000 settlement from the city and is refusing to testify without immunity.
They walk in and give this kid $60,000, and he walks out and thumbs his nose at the district attorney and the special prosecutor says, "I'm not coming in." Tell me, what kind of a deal is that?
Jermaine Henderson was an important witness, but we have other evidence, other witnesses that will establish each and every element of the crimes charged, and I believe we're going to be successful.
The jury is made up of 6 men, 6 women, none of whom is black. The case is expected to last 2 weeks.
A West Sand Lake man pleads guilty to bludgeoning his grandparents to death more than a year ago. By pleading guilty, 25-year-old Daniel Best Jr. avoided the death penalty. He faces up to 45 years in jail for murdering his grandparents in November of 1997. Police caught up with him shortly afterward in Oregon in his grandparents' car. Best will be formally sentenced on April 8th.
It was a combination of construction and an inattentive driver that made for quite a mess on the Northway this morning. Authorities had to shut down the southbound lanes between exits 10 and 11 for about an hour late this morning. They tell us that a motorist didn't realize the lanes merged and slammed into a minivan, sending it into a tanker truck where it became wedged. The tanker was empty, but fire officials were called in anyway because of the threat of dangerous fumes. Despite the heavy wreckage, no one was seriously hurt.
While still ahead, a City of Rensselaer student who claims his teacher taped his mouth shut tells his story to Channel 6 News.
And our school uniforms, the wave of the future for students in Massachusetts public schools. We'll have the answer when we come back.
Hi, I'm Dan DiNicola.
And I'm Rachael Ray.
Coming up in the 30-minute meal, 9 herbs.
My grandfather's 9-herb pasta sauce, yes.
And it's terrific.
And it's kosher.
Stay around.
Channel 6 closed captioning for the hearing impaired is underwritten by Raymore and Flanagan.